Okay, here's a P1 through P10. I guess this is an intermediate because I made a basic one. Okay, so this is how it goes. So the best way to remember P1 through P10 is when you have P1, just this is a famous person, Peter Cowan. He teaches, I guess, one time, Lori McRoy, Bruce Kepka, and numerous others, Hideki. He's famous for like a do 45. Let me show you 45-degree angle. So I just pops up into my head. So I just said it. But see this here, roughly 45. Okay, a club has this, all the way up to closer to 70 plus for putter, all the way down to maybe 40 plus for the driver. This angle is there. Obviously, this is straight up and down. This is straight parallel, but it sits at a certain angle. So if you measure this angle from the ground, right here, I mean just consider roughly 45. Okay. So that's your first 45. So P1 is 45. P2 is actually parallel to the target line. So P1 45, P2 parallel, and P3 is actually going back to 45, pointing to that there. And then P4 is parallel. P5 is 45 again. P6 parallel. P7 45. P8 parallel. P9 45. P10 is parallel. So as you practice golf swing, when you get to P, for example, P2 parallel to that line, now if you are not parallel and then you go like this, that means P2 position is out in position. Here also, if you go like this, P2 also in out of position. Why? Because again, P2 is right here. Clearly it teaches you exactly where you're supposed to be. But if you're taking it too much inside like this, at P, when club is parallel to the ground, see that? Parallel to the ground, and that's too far inside. That is a P2 position right here. Also, this is a position where Peter Cowan talks about. Okay, right here. Boom, P7. It teaches you, because watch this. If you drop here, see that? This is big on Peter Cowan. You drops right here, it hits it here. You're here, out here, it hits it here. You're here, see that? You're here, you turn here. If you turn, you're here. From P2 position, you turn, pivot, it hits you P7. P6, parallel, you pivot, it gets you every time. If you're here, P2 position and P6 position right here, boom, it hits you, gets you the P7 perfectly. Here you turn, boom. Here you turn, right here. See, it's not good. That's why he's big on right here, this right here. P2 and P6. Known to be here. Okay. Anyway, so elaboration of P1 through P10. So continue to do like your morning exercise, or you doing yoga. Okay, you go 45, P2 parallel, P3 45, P4 parallel, P5 45, P6 parallel, P7 45, P6 parallel to those two lines, P9, stay down, P10. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Now, I told you about this plane in first video, but this is most powerful position right here. If you come in this angle, this plane, all that is good, but most natural plane for this particular club is right here. Okay? Right here. That's why you see most of the golf professional, when you see P5, a lot of them sits like this, and clubs is on the side, matching the original plane right there. Okay? All right? And right here is, I don't want to go into bigger detail, is here, P6, P7, P8, P9. Here, if you see here, you see this angle is, if you're here, much higher angle, and you come through here, you lose what we call, I don't want to go into detail, third accumulation, okay? Meaning this power is third accumulating. Power source. You can power source. Second one is you're just going straight down like that. Third one is rotational power, like that. Okay? Think about it. If you are straight like this, no angle, there's no power. But if you have a little bit of angle like this, bam, there's power. So right here, the plane is very important power source. Much powerful here than here. Okay? So now there's certain instructors, more that he believes that more important than P7, the certain plane where you enters is more important. Some people believes that. Okay? So going back to what I was saying, so this is the plane right here, right? Now, also another issue we have is that, let's say if we're doing it with a one arm, it's very easy to get to that and then match it there and then coming back down and doing this. Same thing, if you're doing it with the right arm, absolutely no problem. Here, match it at P4, P5, and P5, P7, P6, P7. Problem is when you hold two hands, it is extremely difficult. It's actually almost impossible to do P4 from here, this position, both arms. In other words, this is a P3, you're gonna get to P4. Literally, you have to do this. P1, P2, P3 here. P4 is, your body, hand cannot go to P4 position with both arms and hands attached to the club. Okay? It's not humanly possible unless you are like a Matt Kuchar, has an extremely long arm. Here, P3 and P4 get to here is impossible. Absolutely impossible to do it both hands. Therefore, when you sit it here, original plane to start with, let's say you get to P2, P3, that's why every golfers now, you travel and then you break that, or you making a transition to the different plane. Almost like you swing, this is the lane you're in, highway lane, and then you travel your lane, and then there's a slow vehicle, so you actually taking another lane, fast lane, okay? And then you decided to go back down to original lane, and then you finish it. That is golf swing. Some people leaves, here's P2, they leaves too early, that's their choice. So now that's a more modern day teaching here, and they, instead of 45, they go more of a little bit vertical and then come back down this way, okay? But anyway, to explain, plane You sit it here. We consider this as an elbow plane here, because the elbow is actually at the address, it crosses your elbow, that's why. Here, and then P2 and P3, okay, P3. And then it leaves you to different lane and comes back down to original lane and you finish. That is the one of the ways to do your swing, okay? All right, now, therefore, when we do the Moby Dick swing, look at this, Moby Dick swing, together, separated, together. As you can see, when you do this together, first together is we are tracing that. We're not doing this, not doing inside like this. We are tracing, there's a laser. We are tracing that first line right there. Okay, so if this is a chipping, one, look at this, two, boom. So chipping, trace it, P1, P1 and a half, almost P1, and then when you separate it, let's say we go to P2, see that? And then P3, and P7, I'm sorry, P2, P7, maybe P7 and a half. So when you're done, see, you are, if there's a laser, you're looking right there. Okay, one more time. Here, P1, that's the chipping backswing, together, separated. When you finish the separation, your club sits right at P2, parallel to the ground. And then P7, P7 and a half. Together, separated, together. Together, separated, together. Okay. If you do pitch, you together, you still pointing to that target line. Okay? Together, now when you do separation, P2, P3. See that? Right there. Together, separated, when you do together, 1.5, P1, P2 here, P 1.5 right there. And then when you do separation, you cross the P2, P3, and back down to P6, P7, P8. That'll be a good pitch practice. Together, separated, together. Pitching or punching relatively, together, P1.5, separated, P2, P3, P6, P7, P8, pitch, punch, 1.5, P2, P3, P6, P7, P8. Punch shot. 1.5, crossing the P2 with the separation, and P3, downswing, P6, P7, P8. 1.5, P1.5, crossing separation, P2, P3, P6, P7, P8. If you put it all together, here, 1.5, separated, P3, P6, P7, P8. P1 together, separated, together. Together, separated, together. Together, separated, together. Together, separated, together. P1.5, separated, P2, P3, downstream, P6, P7, P8. Together, separated, together. One last time. Together, separated, together. Have a nice day.